Hi, I'm Toby McRae on the communications team at St.Amant, and I'm joined by Acting President and CEO Shirley Labossière, just to get to know her a little bit more and find out about her role. Thanks for spending some time with me today, Shirley. Can you tell me a bit about your career and how you landed here at St.Amant?
Sure. Actually, my very first job was here at St.Amant. I started as a resident assistant back in the day, that's what we used to call it. And I worked here on One East for about 4 months, and then I had to change jobs just because I couldn't quite make it after school. And so I went to work for a PCH and worked there for about 4 or 5 years doing nurse's assistant role, similar to what I was doing here. Work days, work nights, work evenings. So got to experience the whole healthcare thing in a variety of different ways. Then I went on into my accounting career, started off as an accounting clerk, and then I worked in a number of different kinds of organizations, doing a number of different finance roles, always doing a little bit of something outside of the actual true finance roles, like being seconded to an IT project, that kind of thing. And eventually just ended up being very tired of working for the owner or the shareholder and not feeling like I was doing anything very meaningful. I saw this position posted, and at the time it was posted as Vice President of Centralized Services. And since I had started here and I had a sister who had worked here for a long time, I thought it would be an interesting place to come back to work. And so applied, got the job. And from there, starting from being a Vice President of Centralized Services, I then evolved into being Vice President of all of the service areas, and then Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, and then Chief Operating and Chief Financial Officer. And then now, Acting President and CEO, which was totally unexpected and not something I was striving to do, but I think is a really exciting opportunity for me, and I'm looking forward to working with my team and working with the board and trying this out for a year while John's seconded to work for Department of Family.
Well, you're going to have a lot on your plate in this new role. Can you tell us a bit about what you have planned for the next year?
We'll continue to be guided by the strategic plan, of course, under the direction of the board, and I'll be working closely with the executive, as John and I always have. We set our annual objectives every year, so we're well on our way with those, and we'll set some new ones in the fall. And the focus will continue to be on advocating for the people that we support and on just meeting unmet needs in the community. So be more of the same, maybe a slightly different style, but John and I always had the same ultimate goals and intentions, and so I think it's not going to feel a whole lot different than it would have if John was still here.
How would you describe your leadership style?
I think first and foremost, I try to have a coaching style. I try to leave my team a lot of autonomy in what they do, but I like to be supportive, consultative. I appreciate getting a lot of different people's opinions and their perspectives before I make decisions, but I'm not afraid to make decisions, even if they're difficult ones. I think I'm also a pretty calm person, so when things start to look a little bit like they're turning into a crisis, I don't get too flustered by that. I think I often say things like, we'll get through it, we'll figure this out, and together we always can figure it out.
Shirley, what do you want most for your team at St.Amant and for the employees of St.Amant?
Well, I hope that they find that our culture is one that is reflective of our values, and that they feel appreciated and that they feel respected at all times. I hope that they have all the tools and the resources that they need to feel safe in their jobs, and also to continue to progress in their careers as they would like.
As the leader of St.Amant, what does success look like to you, and how do we know when we've got there?
I think success for me, and probably for the whole team, is when we know that we're doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. So I think that first and foremost, that's the most important thing. We also look for feedback, always appreciate feedback from the people we support, from the families, from our staff, through our engagement surveys. I think when we have strong partnerships with our funders, that allows us to continue to do the good work that we do, and that we're collaborative and we're meeting unmet needs, those are all part of success.
What do you feel like makes you proud to lead at St.Amant?
I'm very proud of the mindful approach that we have been using, and the fact that we use both a person-centered and a family-centered approach here. Both of those are important to us. I think when I hear stories about personal stories about families and the impact that we have made in their lives in any and all of our programs, whether it's an email or it's a family that shared a story. I think that's what's really meaningful. And when I see people in the community who are being supported by some of our staff and they don't know that they're being observed, whether they're at the shopping mall or they're at the park, and I see how respectful and caring they are, that's very meaningful.
Well, we've covered a lot about your professional life. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about you?
Okay, well, I'm the proud mom of 3 kids. They're triplets, and they're 28 years old now, so they're delightful young adults. I have 2 girls and a boy, Pamela, Deanna, and Raymond, and they make me very proud all the time. So first and foremost, I'm a mom. I also have my fur babies, so I'm a big animal lover and primarily dog lover. I have spent a lot of time fostering and adopting dogs. I have 4 dogs right now, 2 of which are seniors, and so that's a big part of my life as well. I'm a runner, and running's a big part of what makes me happy, that helps me deal with stress and just generally makes me feel good. It's kind of meditative for me, I think, in a lot of different ways. I've run many full marathons. I've done 29 so far. Hopefully do my 30th in the not too distant future. When I go into something, I tend to go all the way. I'm also really fascinated by all aspects of the human body, and that includes exercise and nutrition, and so I read extensively about this. I'm quite fascinated about it, and I have a very strict diet, and if it's not plant-based and it's not nutritious, I generally just don't put it in my body. So a little bit of a quirk of mine, I guess. I also really appreciate being out in nature, whether it's camping or just going for a walk in the park and just kind of having that mindful moment. And I'm also a big reader. I spend a lot of time reading any and everything, pretty much.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us so that we could get to know you better. Congratulations on your new role, and we all look forward to working with you.